Hello everyone, my name is Juan Lopez and today I'll be going over my final presentation. I'll be talking about all the assignments we went over this semester, such as the simple biped, a biped detailed pass, character reference boards and a small introduction to my character, the midterm character sculpt, some hard surface modeling, architecture assemblies, rigging and animation, as well as some extras at the end. Here we have the simple biped, which is created by a series of cylinders. And this was great for me because it was a good way to get back into the Maya interface after a pretty long hiatus. Right here we're just getting the simple details of the hands and the body, so it's pretty blocky right now. Here we have a closer look at the edge loops of the face, a closer look at the groin and feet, and here is a short animation for my biped. Next up is the biped detailed pass. This is when you start to have more fun with your character as you're starting to bring out the details of their body. We're adjusting the vertices here to get out the details such as the cranium shape, the S-curve of the spine, the curves of the fingers, and some more details on the feet and legs. Here we have another closer look at the edge loops of the face and of the groin and feet area, plus a Mixamo model. And here's my character intro. So, Richard is an undead that is simply tired of not living. They hate not being able to feel, eat, breathe, or do any of the things the living can do. Because of this, they have dedicated their life to wizardry, so he may be able to restore his own corpse. It's been mostly successful, and he's restored a majority of vitality to his body, except his face, leaving a bare skull. Here is my mood board for the character. The larger the image, the more significant it is to their appearance or personality. In the middle, we have an image of a wizard, and it represents Richard's magical ability. On the left, we have two images of a man staring at himself through a mirror. It represents his self-obsession. On the bottom left, we can see a lonely figure, which represents loneliness. On the right, we can see two skeletal figures, which are a rough idea of what I want my character to look like, plus a inspiration for my character, which I will show at the end. Here I have my model sheets, rough drafting my character, and starting to get some ideas. Hand and feet models. Here is where I brought in my character after sculpting and retopologizing, and there are a couple of oopsies, so creating stuff like this is always a process, and it's just part of the learning. Here I have a closer look at the hands, as well as a closer look at the face, and another Mixamo model. Up to the hard surface modeling, I have a variety of beams and rectangles in order to create some of the details I have in mind for my house. I have a window assembly as well as a series of door frames and doors. Here I have some planks which will be used for the stairs, window panes, the wooden bench, or the table. On the left, we can see a small beaker, a floor lamp, a table, and a wooden workbench. Over here, we have a series of assemblies for my walls, the doorway wall, the cutout for the window, the floor ceilings, as well as another cutout for my stairway. Over here are all my pieces assembled into what I want my house to look like. I'm still missing a roof, but here we have a better look at the railings for my stairway, as well as an outside railing for a small little balcony. Here is another closer look at the interior of the house, plus a look at the floating stairs I had mentioned earlier. And here's my character put into place and scaled to the size of the house. Here we have a short rigging and animation for my cylinder. And here are my layers for the cylinder. We have the roots and their constraints, and they're all parented. We have the root in action, as well as a dedicated layer so that the roots may not be touched by accident. Closer look at the controllers. Here are my references and textures. As you can see on the house are the wooden beams that I kind of wanted to recreate inside this Maya model, as well as some other references for my benches, stairs, the beaker, and the lamp. Here are some textures like a brick wall, a wooden floor, and a simple canvas texture. Here we have the background of a forest and some other wood textures. And over here are the extras. So I had a lot of fun creating textures and lighting and creating a small little scene for my character. You know, it's really fun to see your creations come to life. And yeah, here is another still image of my renders. And here is pretty much the inspiration for creating the character. So I am creating a cosplay mask for my friend, and I thought it would be a really good idea to create a skeleton character in order to kind of troubleshoot things I'll be going over as I create this cosplay mask for my friend. Thank you for listening.